From Throstur Ellidason to come over all the way from Iceland to do a talk on Iceland today. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but one thing that, having fished and spent a long time in Iceland, the attitude from their government to work with their fisheries, as I said earlier, has worked extremely well, and Throstur has run a hatchery system on a river which was taken out by Bandy due to hydro a number of years ago, and has shown that this can work in a number of things. So I'll let him go. It's really great that he's come to do this for us today, so we can see how this actually works.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here today. It's a little bit warmer here than in Iceland. A little bit more cold to warm us up as well. My name is Throstur Ellidason. I've been involved with stocking for 40 years in different rivers around Iceland. I'm going to make a lecture here, a presentation about what I've been doing, not just this one river, Jökla, the latest one, but also whatever I've been doing in the last 40 years or so. I'm educated in aquaculture, fish biology, and I've been lucky to work with my passion and build up a company called Strengi, which is a licensed agency with where we offer fishing around Iceland in different rivers, salmon and trout fishing. And we have, what shall I say, we have been 30 full-time for 32 years, but I've been stocking for 40 years from experience. I will little bit talk about things, what I've been doing in Iceland and what we are doing in Iceland, but of course mainly on the stocking, but of course there's been catch and release, and habitat improvement, fish ladders. Fish ladder is a big thing in Iceland. We have hundreds of kilometers of new areas in our rivers in Iceland where we get run up or we do par or fry releasing before we open it with fish ladders. And that's a big thing in Iceland as well. But stocking is not quite, as we say, a popular thing. We can say in Iceland there's about 100 salmon rivers in Iceland. And stocking is done in relatively few of them. There used to be a little bit more, but still those that are doing it in are doing pretty well. Well, a little bit explain Iceland, middle of Atlantic Ocean. We are on the edge of the warm Gulf Stream, which you see as the red one, and the East Greenland current coming from the north, which is the polar current, very, very cold, and they two meet just north of Iceland. And these sea temperatures and the conditions in the sea have a lot of effect on our return rates. For example, rivers in the south and the west, the average sea temperatures are around, in June, July, when the smolts are going in, they are around 10, 12 degrees, while in the north and the east, especially here, they can be down to 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees, so it's a much harsh conditions. And the stocks in Iceland are very much like the north and the east are more like mixed tushy winter stocks and grills. While we have the stocks in the south and the west coast of Iceland, I would say 80–90% are grills in Iceland. And where do our salmon go? We don't know all where they will go, but there are indication that at least the grills are going far south, southwest of Iceland, 200 miles or even more further down. An indication that they are there, plus the north and east are going further east like this and here, but as I said, we don't know exactly all where they go. But at least they are going to the feeding ground shorter way than the Scottish or the English salmon. That's for sure. Live circles, just show you how that is. As everybody knows, it is fry. It's eggs, Yorkshire fry, par, smolts, grills, and then bigger salmon, and then come back to spawn. And of course, every salmon that is coming to the river, every salmon need to spawn. He's coming to the rivers to spawn. And if someone tells you that small stocked fish cannot reproduce, that's a failure. All fish are coming back to spawn. That's the key of the thing. Whether they've been raised in hatchery or whatever, it's the life sector, of course. Okay, I'm going to start with my first experiment, 1984. There's a small river north of Reykjavik, half an hour north of Reykjavik, close to Laxalóni coast, called Kiðafellsá. I started a small experiment program there in 1984. Tiny little river, and we had some problem to let the salmon come in, so we made a small trap here just above the estuary so the fish could go through, and when they went through, they couldn't go back again. So they went up the river. And we had a small pond. This is a very small one. We had a bigger one. But once I only released 1,000 smolts in 1984, and we had 70 grills the following year. It's a 7% return rate to the rod. We talk in Iceland to the return to the rod, and the rod means what the fisherman is catching. And 7% is the highest I had heard anywhere in the world on the rod. And so these are also these years that were the return of the sea was much higher than it is today, and I will go further into that. But after that, I started to be involved with the Rangá rivers, along with the local hunting club and some landowners, and we put this smolt releasing experience more into action there. I was mainly on the west, but I was also partly in the east the first years as well, managing the fishing and doing smolt releasing along with the local hunting club and some landowners as well. So these were 10-year period, or 11-year period I was involved. Smolt ponds, it's a waste of time and money to release smolts into river without putting it into a smolt releasing pond first. It has to be going to, of course, make the smoltification process in the pond. We should get them into the pond as a big par in late spring. Everything is different timing a little bit there than here. So we are putting them in the ponds in May, June, and maybe 1 month there, or longer or less, depends on the smoltification process, which depends on the temperature in the pond. In West Rangá, which had relatively cold rivers, we need to get the temperature as high as possible. It also preferably about 10 degrees Celsius, but it's cold. If you have a cold water, you don't get the smoltification process properly going through that, and they might not get the whole process through to get out. It can happen. You have to get the temperature. This is a little experiment I did with the Institute of Freshwater Fisheries in the Rangá in the old days, which is give us a little bit how we can control where we catch our fish from the smolt releasing ponds. And this is distance from place or release. That means that here the pond is here. This is above the pond, and this is below the pond. And the dark ones are release ponds on tributary brooks. Tiny, it only need to be some tiny little brooks. If you have a small pond in a tributary brook, the fish will not go much higher up. They will go straight there, and even lay there on a halting place without, and if it's not even a halting place or whatever, they would just like to be there, open water, they will stay there. They will be close to the smolt releasing pond. But this way you can control. You have a beat that has no a very slow fishing or very little fishing, or all the fish are running through. You put a pond in a small tributary there, bingo, you get the fish to stop it right away. And even we had it, what shall we say, the year that we start the programs, because there is a smell or something from the pond, it disturbs the run, and even the fish start to lay there the year you start the operation of pond in that creek. We had some experience with that. And then we also have the release ponds in the main river, just the water from the river itself in the channel, and we put a pond, and And then the spreading is much more, and that also depends on what kind of river it is. If it's a lot of waterfalls on the way, how they spread, but they can be everywhere, more or less. They can go higher up. But of course, they are a little bit concentrated still in the air, but nothing like the tributary groups. Here we have the upper waterfall in West Rongau. This photo I'm showing because of two reasons. First, to show this, these are grills. Here's a big, that means, and there's a two-seam interface. That means that when you're using big smolts, we were talking about, I think it was smolt releasing up to, I think 50 to 100 grams, which is big smolt. S1 still, because of the hot water, we can boost the growth in the hatchery. The fish go to the sea with the advantage of the size and fat, and they come back bigger, also bigger grills and bigger two-seam interface, if they're going out relatively big. And the biggest grills ever we had was a micro-tagged fish. We did some experiments with micro-tag to get full information on where the fish are going from the ponds and what kind of smolts are the best. That the biggest one was released and came the year after, 5.5 kilos in 1 year.
Is that all?
So it must have been relatively bigger, and that was unique, the biggest of it. The other reason I'm showing this waterfall is called the upper waterfall. There is a fish ladder there, I don't have a photo of it, and there was a fish counter there. One season, I had a small releasing pond. There's a fishing beat about, I think it's about 25 miles all the way up to the mountains, high up. And I had a pond in a small tributary there one year. And we saw that in the beginning of July, the season was just starting, that there was 5 fish have gone through the fish ladder. And the beat is 25 miles, or 25 kilometers, 20 miles, sorry. And I told the first fisherman who bought a license, there are 5 fish up there, only 25 miles to find them. But I told him to go to this spot, there was pool just below the creek with the pond, and he took 2 of the 5. I also had on the fish counter there over 200 fish going through the fish counter and going up, spreading them somewhere up there. We hardly had any of them, just lost them. So it does not question about getting the fish back. You have to harvest. You have to find the fish which you're getting. You just, it's if there's a big river system, and the tributary brooks makes you pinpoint, bingo. You can get back catch back your fish. Well, we carry on. This is Rongau. These are the total catch, east and west Rongau the first years. Most of it was in the west at that time. These are the total catch. The average catch before the program was about 50 salmon, plus a good number of sea trout, RTGR, and things like that. And this is all just smolt releasing. The fish, the numbers up and down is that here was 48,000 smolts released 89 and got 2.7% return rate to the rod, which was fairly good. And then the numbers have increased every year, and now I think in the east and the west and east Rongau, total is a million smolts or more released a year, the whole river system. This is, I was not involved after 2001. But this was a big adventure, and see that this can be done. I will carry on. After 2001, I moved to my favorite river, where I caught my first salmon as a young boy, Breiðdalsá, on the east coast of Iceland. Totally different kind of river. It has a small limited stock, 50 to 100 salmon a year. It has, but also because of the sea conditions, the catches in Breiðdalsá prior to the smolt program started can be very much up and down. For example, Iceland 1978 was one of the record year all over Iceland, I think all over the Atlantic Ocean. We had in Breiðdalsá 400 salmon, 1978. 1984 was a very bad year all over Iceland, a very bad year, especially north and east. Breiðdalsá had 4 salmon, so it's 100 times up and down. And this is before the smolt. Well, I started a sports program there just before and put full force on putting out good number of smolts and took a broodstock, of course, from that river. Plus, I got a permission those years to take also partly from other East Coast rivers, some broodstock fish as well. Today, regulations do not allow it. This was, as I said, this is a long time ago. And of course, we are always using the broodstock from each river for our programs. So this is these were the good years also in Iceland. Generally, year 2000 and clear enough, 2008, 2000 and up to 2011 were a fantastic year in Iceland, even record year in some of the rivers. And this is mostly in Breiðdalsá. We have net to protect from birds. We have fish feeders. We feed them both automatically and then also by hand twice a day. We try to they're a little bit stressed, a lot of sunshine, so we put extra net also sometimes over it, so they are a little bit more calm. And this is we transfer them into the ponds by big trucks. And here you can look into one of the tank. It's not like a smolt, it looks more like a parr. So they come, when it's the same fish as ever, it's just they haven't had, what shall I say, this multiplication process hasn't started. It's been a little bit dark in the hatchery, or they've been keeping dark, and then they go out in the light, and they get the spring, they get the light, and they get the temperature in the pond, and they will get multiplicated. But this will not be good in a cold pond. It has to be, you cannot put them like that. You need to have them, like you see here, is a partly, we could say there's a pre-smolt. So it's just the process, little bit started. They're not just about to start to get silvered and a little bit silvered. That will be the best thing. And even more silvered if they're going into a cold pond. Breiðdalsá, this pond I showed to you is in a creek in this corner here, you can see it. And just to show you how much the pond can change fishing in a beat, is just like here. This is the pool you saw there. Is the pond is here, and everything here, it was nothing these original years. Here later on, hundreds and hundreds of salmon are caught in the pools just around Nandit small creek, but it just changed from 1 or 2 fish to hundreds and hundreds of fish, just like that. And the pond is here, and this area here is catching maybe 600-800 fish until the pond is put into full action. There's the lots in the background. In Breiðdalsá, there's a waterfall in the, what shall I say, a little bit above the middle part of the river. And there's a fish ladder there, and we did for a while have a fish counter there. And that gave us a little bit of information, like how many fish we're catching out of the run. The fish are only coming up in the upper part there, maybe in August. We are fishing like July, August, September, 3 months. And so it's a later part of the season. We're fishing up in the upper part there, and mainly in September. And by the counting, we were catching maybe 25-30% of the run, was going to the upper part. So what we're catching below it is probably higher. So generally in Iceland, and which is a little bit special, there is, I don't know why, but there is we are catching about 50%. We often say we catch about half of the run in Icelandic rivers. I think in Scotland it's 10% or maybe less, I understand. I don't know the reason for this. Many Icelandic rivers are small, they are short season. I think it's fished heavily in this short season, but I cannot explain why it's not 10% or whatever. In some rivers of Iceland it might even be much higher. We have seen some record 70-80% of the run has been caught. But now most of it's catch and release. And generally we have not overfished Icelandic river, that's my opinion. It's not like that, even in the past when we're killing everything. Except we could clearly see that that the early fish, which were double tushy winter fish very much in Iceland, they were getting less and less as everywhere else. And part of that region, they were much longer time under fishing pressure, we were killing them more and more out of the circle. So there was more grills spawning instead of tushy winter fish, so slowly this has been changed, and we get the feeling generally in Iceland, we are getting them slowly back to tushy winter fish. We are getting more of big fish in Iceland back again. It will take some time, but we have the feeling it's happening. And it's proven genetically that tushy winter fish parents give more rate of tushy winter fish, and instead of just two grills or tushy winter put together. Hatchery, I had a small hatchery up in Breiðdalsá, but also I deal with a big hatchery north in the Big Laxá. In Iceland, all smolts are S1 more or less. We have the hot water normally in most hatcheries in Iceland, enough of it. So we push them high right after they start feeding, 10, 12 degrees, and all the way to from February to fall or to Christmas. And then we put them outside in the cold and the dark, or control it by a photo period inside the hatchery, and get them so they get winter into their lives. And then we can control the light, how much light they get as the spring comes, and we control the heat, so we can control the status of them when we move them into the ponds. If they are, how much we want them. In a cold pond, you will maybe let them be a little bit more smoltificated, or in a hot pond, we can just be like a park. But we can control these factors in the hatchery. Here is, we did some, both in Breiðdalsá and also in Rangá, a little bit in Jökla as well, we did some micro tag, then we put a tag in the nose, and as I told you and then we record the fish, how the size of the fish, how it looks, and in what pond he went, and when he was released, and the fish, and then we cut, of course, the adipose to indicate he has a micro tag in the nose. This is very expensive, it costs about the same as the cost of smolts. The cost of smolts, well, it's up and down, but just to say something, it's around 1 quid per smolt, I could say on average, with the smolt releasing process, making a pound, feeding, or whatever. It can be less, it can be more, but just to say something. Here there are micro-tagging smolts in Breiðdalsá. And well, I'm showing this photo a little bit because of a little bit special. This is this man on the right, this biologist friend of mine who was micro-tagging them. And we had a fish caught from Breiðdalsá 200 miles southwest of Iceland by some fishermen. He found there was salmon around the coast or whatever, took the fish, put it to the Institute of Freshwater Fisheries because it was adipose which was cut. They did read it and they saw it was from Breiðdalsá, so this point was this size, so it had been released that place, had been marked here, had been raised up in hatchery in the north. And why I'm saying this is that because this man, the hatchery manager in the north, which was raising the fish, and the fishermen were all in the same class in the school. So, well, the fish came in their lives and 200 nautical miles southwest of Iceland. So it's a small story. Here you see a posting has been cut on this fish here. And, but we don't do it hardly anymore, really, but it's costly. Here you see a blue stock fishing in Breiðdalsá. This is a little bit special. These are two big ones after this taken after the season. One of them is micro-tag with adipose fin, we said, and the other one was wild. And the other one, we took some very big fish out of Breiðdalsá, so we had some of the biggest fish in Iceland caught some years in my program. We put a lot of pressure on mainly big fish, and we choose them over the season, but choose them in the boxes. And there was one surprise in Breiðdalsá, which is a little bit different than any other river of Iceland. Breiðdalsá is also on the east side of Iceland, far from any other river in Iceland, more or less. That we could read in the scale samples that there were few 3-seer winter fish coming. And that's hardly ever seen in Iceland. There were not many, and they were 10 kilos plus, males and females, both from the wild stock and from the blue stock program, from the smolt program. I think it's maybe 6 or 7 of them. But they said the first fish, you don't remember they were at 3 sea winter fish. Some return fish coming back again, but most big fish in Iceland, we call it big, you know, the very big fish, 10 kilo plus, are just 2 sea winter fish. Even they're just growing fast, some of them, mainly males. What's happening here? This is East Iceland, data from the Institute of Freshwater Fisheries. The average catch is this line here. Then the catches per year. And as I told you, it was a fantastic year in Breiðdalsá. We were catching fish in these years when I was splitting it up. And these are the catches in East Iceland after that. After 2011, generally the catches went down in Iceland seriously. Still good, but it went down compared to the record years we had from as you see, from 1990 to 2000 and till 2011 was one of the best we've had for many years. And the reason was suddenly the return rate from the sea went down seriously. For some, it's difficult to say why. And at the same time, cost-wise, I had to reduce. My numbers were small, so Breiðdalsá went down again. It was a mixture of that, plus I had, the cost-wise, I thought also we might get some reserves to have it self-sustainable, the river, by a lot of spawning, a lot of fish, but it didn't turn out. The habitat at the bottom is a little bit too bad, but financially I'd have to reduce the spot release. And here you can see in the period of 1997 to 2022, they have been released about 2.2 million smolt, and also a little bit power as well, not many. And we had about 11,100 salmon back out of it. So it's 0.3%, to the rod. It was expected, the rod catch on northeast part of Iceland was expected about 0.5% to the rod. There's always lower return rate in the north and east because of the sea conditions, also genetically, because there are some 2 sea winter fish there. And when you have 2 sea winter fish, you have also higher mortality in the sea. It's an extra year in the sea, it means extra mortality. And if you are aiming to build a big stock, you're also aiming to sacrifice quantity for quality. So that's also part of this. And here I also want to explain to you this thing from a satellite. Gulf Stream, this is East Iceland. The Gulf Stream is coming, as I explained earlier, up to Iceland, coming up to the south coast. It goes west and up north, and then east again, but very weak. And then it sometimes doesn't get all the way Breiðdalsá, so it's here, where the warm, cold sea doesn't really, sometimes don't fix in. So it's a little bit higher mortality even there in this part. Also generally in northeast of Iceland it can be very much as a up and down because of this less stability like in the warm sea south of Iceland. So same time I built a very nice lot, some say one of the finest lots in Iceland. At the end of the line it was a little bit tough to have such a low return rate for a while after all the investments. But I want to explain also, and there's a small river south from Breiðdalsá, a town called Höfn. I had that river for some while, and I was running a smoke program on it. It just didn't have sustainable stock, and we did a pond there. And I'll show you here where it is. Here is Breiðdalsá. Here is this Laxalóniation, this river here. I had same smolts putting into this river here, just a few, not a huge number, only very few numbers, and into ponds here, and then the same smolts in here, from the same trap, in the same tank, from the hatchery and everything. The return rate here was 0.5%, but of course much of it was partly as a 2 sea winter fish came a year later. Here, most of the fish came after 1 year, as a big grills, and they were in this higher temperature, and the return rate to the rod was 2.7%. Totally the same price, but it's 7 times difference in the return rate. And the only difference is the sea temperature. conditions. But sorry, as I was saying, Breiðholtsá, I just hadn't had fun to kick off. I would like to kick off with a huge smolt releasing again, and it's such a beautiful place. It doesn't need a lot of salmon just to keep people happy and with all the big fish there. And there's a new operator, and I have been in good cooperation with them, and wish them all the luck. And I'm sure if they put an effort and work into it, they can build up Breiðholtsá again, as I did. But I moved all my resources into the next river system, Jökla River in the northeast. What a beautiful river, as you see. But this is a photo of Jökla as it was before a huge dam was built at the top of the river system. It was before 2007. It was the most dirtiest river of Iceland. Glacier river, just full of mud. And there was just nothing there. There is some tributaries at the bottom part of it, which had a little bit, explained also, had a little bit of salmon, few salmon, and then plus sea trout, and Arctic char. Here you see the same place after the dam came. Here you go, 20 cubic meters, big time. You see? Hallelujah. Yeah. And suddenly there was just this river. It's the longest river of Iceland, 120 kilometers. Suddenly started to be clean. Oops. And the landowners contacted me, wanted me to advise what to do with this river. And I said, oof, it's too big for anyone to do anything. I don't know. Then I went and had a look at it. I went to fish the tributaries a little bit, and I had a bonanza, I had a salmon, I had a char, natural, and this was, so I decided to take the whole river system under my wing, with the tributaries and everything. And has been a new adventure, a little bit if I try to explain here. Here is the biggest glacier of Europe, Vatnajökull. Here you can see a lake. This is the lake from the dam, which is here. The river is flowing down here 120 kilometers to the sea. They make a dam here, close the river, for a power supply to a power station which is at the bottom of this lake, and they make an underground tunnels 40 miles to move 100 cubic meters of water into that power plant. It's one of the biggest dam projects in Europe, small version of the 3 dam project in China, and will never be allowed today. And now the glacier water is moving into this lake and down here, and then it comes together with the Jökla at the estuary again. So it's like it changed to go down here, you go down this way, first underground, and then the sea. So suddenly it was, and there you can see at the bottom here is Jökla coming down, and from the big lake all the way, and they meet again down in the estuary. And there's a small tributary I have also this way here. As I'm moving a whole river system. Here is the dam. It's a huge one, and this is taken late in the season, late or in the fall. Overflow, the dam is full, and the overflow is coming over, and we cannot fish the Jökla itself when this happens. But before that, the dam is down. They're using the dam for the production, and it goes in the underground under this mountain 40 miles to the power station. So it's up, and this overflow is coming in late August normally, and then it's finished in September before the salmon spawns. The salmon are spawning in the river after the overflow is finished, so everything is much better. It will be overflow and it will be spawning, and then it goes down, all the ice will be ruined. Here you can a little bit explain a little bit the dam. This is the red line is when the overflow is coming over the dam. This is the level of the dam, and this is status now is very low. The average is the green one. It's late August that it comes flip over the dam. It has happened in early August, like last year. Very bad. We had it in the beginning of August, but the average is late August. And also, but now it's so low, we think it might even happen in September and maybe not at all, because it's been so cold in Iceland. That's why I came up. But so this explains. And I look at this card every. It's on the web. You can look at this card from the power company. Here you see the temperature of the Jökla. It's one of the warmer rivers of Iceland, really. It's part of the first creek, so first water comes into it just from a geothermal heat sources. So the river is warmer, the higher it goes up, but you see it goes all the way up to 20, 25 degrees on the hot days. But then it collapses here. It's 2021 because the overflow is coming in and the temperature collapses as soon as the overflow comes. It's a glacier water. Before that, we didn't know this. When I started the Jökla, we didn't know nothing what was going to happen, what was going to do. I just took the chance. As usual, it's warm, it can be warm in East Iceland, the south wind, and 29 degrees the warmest days I've had in the river. So it can get warm in Iceland. Well, I'm just going to explain a little bit what this has meant for the stock in the river. This is a Laxá. This is a small tributary in the lower part of Jökla. By the name I said, it had a few fish, natural fish in this tributary. And I managed to take some of them for the blue stock when I started the program, but also got a special permission to use Breiðdalsá stock as well to start the stocking program of the river. It was nothing there except there is few fish in the tributaries. So, small river Laxá, but this is a pond in this river. It's a small river, only 2 kilometers. And it turned out that the habitat is pretty good. And after I started the smolt program, the fish are spawning there, and suddenly these are the wild par count for that tributary. So they are coming up, following my smolt program. That's the tributary. We carry on. Oh, this is, and one of the biggest salmon ever, this is called last fall, 20 pounder. But the biggest salmon ever, I think, in Jökla was caught also in this tributary, 107 centimeters, 25 pounds, in the closing days one. Also, these are females, big ones. These are big fish in Jökla normally. The rate is about 50-50, big fish and two winter fish on the grills. But it can be different between years. It used to be more grills in the early years, but I explain why later. I decided to show this pool just because William is here. This is a pool that we have a problem in Jökla. There are too many pools and I haven't had enough fishermen to visit. There are about 30 kilometers of the 120 kilometers I haven't seen yet myself. And I haven't seen some of the pools that have been fished. So I cannot be everywhere. So, and I did send William down to this canyon. This is just below the main road, this pool, but never been fished. But I tried to fish it 15 years ago and then there was nothing. And I was planning to go there one morning and I was just about to go into the canyon, then I had to go off and I said, William, please go and check on this pool for me. And how many did you have?
Landed 4, lost 2, removed another 4 in 2 hours.
So, and we're going to open the, and then this photo is taken day after the overflow is coming and the river is starting to be unfishable. So we're waiting for opening now in 24th of June to start fishing this pool again. It's only been fished for one day in the history. Okay, this is another thing. What's happening? Jökla disappear under the ground. We didn't know that until they put the dam down and the river disappeared. Disappear under the ground. This is incredible. Here comes Jökla down, flushing down, disappearing, and coming up under high pressure under all this rocky area. This is a unique natural phenomenon. And suddenly, we cannot. Here it's coming up, boiling up like a pot on high pressure. Here it's coming down up there and suddenly boil up down here. And it happened once, I remember, we saw this, that there came high water in the mid-season and this got flooded and we started to catch fish above. There was only once, but this was a major problem. Suddenly out of the blue, we could not fish the middle and the upper part of the river because of these stones we didn't know about before the dam. So we started to make a fish channel just beside it. And started to fish above and we opened it. And right away, in 1 hour, I think hundreds of salmon had gone up. And fantastic pools. This was 2012. And into a pool. This is the same pool. I saw the photo of well, the river was so high and then it was so low in the first photos of the Jökla. This is that pool now. This is now one of the best pools of the river. We just started to fish it regularly 4 years ago, so it is growing. I just have to tell you some fishing stories here because this guy here is very happy and he was very happy this afternoon because this afternoon he had had 5 or 6 salmon on one rod. The smallest was 82 and the biggest was 92. And Iceland is not famous for big fish. We have put 3 years out from. So. And then we took this photo here. The river is crystal clean. We opened the day officially 4th of July 2007. Just ourselves and some friends. We ran up and down the river. The river was crystal clear, beautiful. Not alive, nothing. Just there. Except we saw a few fish around the tributaries in the bottom part. You know, that's we knew they could be. So it's just starting with empty. And all these pools are now full of fish. And then suddenly we discovered after we had made the disturbance there was another problem. In the canyon inside behind the fisherman there was a small waterfall which he thought he should be able to go through, but out of the blue he couldn't. He had difficulty to go up that water. He did, but he had difficulty to do it. And then I'm sure if we're going to get the video, maybe the first one. I'm not sure if I should show it. Yeah. Okay, this is a video, so I'll press on it somehow, with a noise, so...
I think you got, I'll turn the sound up.
Yeah, sound on.
I didn't want the bleeping going on.
So, I maybe shouldn't show this, but and how do I start again?
If you touch it again, it should start.
Okay, and then we went in full force and to the waterfall.
We'll get some bleeping on it.
And off it goes. I don't know what the environment is in Scotland. I was fishing just below and had to run. And then we see this is what we blowed up. We made this channel here. And an hour later, see what happened then, if you put it up again. This is just taken 1 hour later. So it doesn't take long. And now this is just a beautiful, fantastic. Still, this is one of the best pools because it still is an obstacle, but it's one of the best pools. The best year in 1.5 months fishing, 6 to 8 rods. This pool maybe give a 200 salmon in the season. Call it aquarium sometimes because it is small. And you can see them. Yeah. And the size and the quality. This is one fish. Sometimes I can just see it. I mean, if you look at the fin, you just 100% proud. This is just to explain how the river is developed. This is the bottom part. This is where they had to make the fish pass, and this is the place where we had to make the explosion. And now the fish are spreading all the way up 82 kilometers from the sea. They are more like 40 kilometers left. They haven't enough time to check. And it's like a needle in a haystack also to look into. But this is how it develops up. But why? This is a famous photo, a salmon fishing club. I use it as the main photo on the website. I think people might have seen it. Well, looking at it, this is on one of our pools called the church pool. Okay, higher up the valley of the Jökla, we had another tributary, several other small tributaries, and I had a small pond there, just to start to see what, to hope that the fish will go faster up. And then it turned out, this friend of mine, good in the fish biologist, he's measuring the density and he's checking the bottom, and suddenly found out that the conditions were much better than expected. In fact, he's using 2 instruments because he didn't believe the first instrument was too good. And then I had from Tokyo, the Japan professor in fish biology. He was fishing with his friend, and he decided to help me a little bit with both the power releasing in the upper part and checking on the little bit on the insect life and things like that. This is in the small tributary I was talking about. And this tributary, oh sorry. Oh, there you come, sorry. This small tributary also I stopped the smolt releasing, and now it's just wild par count is coming up naturally out of the blue. Just there you go. I don't need to put anything in it anymore. This smolt is high up. Below the tributary is a pool, long pool, a lot of stones, and these are now some of the most productive places. So this is an upper of Jökla, and just to see, I mean, these are good habitat. Just to see, you know, the river is warm, the river is high density, is fertile, and this is the perfect bottom for the par and fingerling to survive. And this, what I didn't know before we started, that it will be so good. So I, luckily, early on, was not sure what to do. I put some par up and down the valley as well into these areas before they made the channel visible up. So that's why the fish went so straight up after we opened the channel. They had been released as a par. And then we run around, we spread them around, we see them and we go into the bottom here. And it's important to, you know, to not put them in one place, to spread them as possible. And now this is a very important. This is the par count in Jökla itself. Yellow. These are my par fingerlings I'm putting out, what they find in the par count. These are 0 plus, 1 plus, 3 plus, 2 plus, wild par. And they say group, they're taking over. And I will reduce, now the par will not stop it totally because there's so many areas that there's not still spawning in, they were so big, that I will reduce it and put it more into small. This is Jeremy, with your permission, I tried to explain it a little bit if you can put up in the next one, the video, very well. If you can put it on the next one. Okay. Okay, so hope you heard that. So, carry on. I had, as I told you, this river is endless. This was after the overflow was finished, sometimes it's finished before the end of the season, just stopped, and I was looking for salmon around the river with top part. This is taken end of September 2018 or something. And I'm looking from a canyon down and looking for possible places. I've been going up and down the canyon higher up. And I decided it looked promising around this stone, and I decided to go down. And nobody had been there before. It's like on the moon, the first steps. And bingo, 14-pounder. So this is now the top pool in Jökla, high 82 kilometers from the sea. And we had a sea lice fish there just this year, first time. So we're discovering, and William here, casting here, more and more. And we take broodstock fish as well. when we are fishing late season and into our tanks. Here I'm explaining just a little bit the whole smolts I've been doing and the part. You can see I've been putting out 745,000 smolts since I began 2006. Really, it's a small experiment first, and about power and fingerings about 800, 900,000 up and down. I expect we have had about 0.3% return rate to the rod of these fishes. And also we go more into statistics. This is higher up the river. This is one of the most beautiful places in Iceland, famous tourist place, and the rumors there fish are seen up there. I was going up to look for fish. It's a little bit spectacular. And another place is we can drive up the valley and see it from distance down to the river. Pools here and there which never been fished. All the way up in the highlands. Here is a little bit special. Here we are electricity and conductivity of the water. In Iceland, we don't have the same problem as you with the what shall we say, pollution, too much chemical, too much phosphorus and things like that. On the opposite, our rivers are too sterile, too clean, many of them. We need more nutrition, we need more, we need more, it's more like that. This is a little bit the nutrition conductivity, and it's good when you have it above 60, 70 and up to 100 or more, and some rivers of Iceland are pretty low, and they are more like for the Arctic char and things like that, and even you just look at Selá and Hossá. Selá is more less conductivity, Hossá has it more, but you can see that some of these rivers in Iceland they have low conductivity. Jökla, on the other hand, is very high, 92 up to 150. It's one of the highest, and the river system is huge compared to most of the rivers in Iceland. So just to show you a little bit about how it is. Here are the statistics of Jökla capsing. Jökla from the beginning, 0, and then up from 2007. And we're going up, and why does it go up and down? That's because when the overflow come and disturb the fishing. Except to begin with, all the fishing here was tributaries, more or less the beginning. There was nothing in there, it was just tributaries, small stocking. You will see later on. Here we only could fish till the beginning of August, otherwise we'd be trouble up here. This year, for only year we could fish 3 months, full season, and 870 salmon. But we're very few fishermen, we only have about 6 to 8 rods with a 25% cooking on it. There was a very little pressure. And we didn't know half of the pools we know today. And this is still, these are the figures for East Iceland these years with Jökla inside it. So if the Jökla wouldn't have been, this would have been even lower, this downfall in East Iceland. Here you can see the difference in Jökla, salmon fishing, how it's gone up in blue, and the trout fishing, the char fishing. It's mainly char and some trout as well. How that is going up and down, it's not really going down, but and it's important. We try to keep the trout and the char in some of the tributaries down there. We're asking now people to catch and release quite a lot of them. This is just to see how good Jökla can be. Out of the blue, it had nothing. These are the week 19th of July, the 26th of July last year. The statistics for best rivers of Iceland that week, and we had 137 salmon for the 8 rods, 2.4 salmon per rod per day. Only Ásum, Hossá, and Selá, which are some of the best in Iceland, are higher. Most other rivers are far below, just this week. Just to show how the quality from 0 is coming up. It's one of the best rivers of Iceland today. This is the size of the fish. The blue is the grills, medium-sized fish, and then the big ones, 10 pounders and up to 87, and then 2 of the big ones at the top. It's just mainly grills to begin with. Also, we are staffing the program. It's just, automatically we are getting more and more big fish as things develop. And you get a bigger run every year, and that's what's kicking in, and it's a good size. You see, big fish, fantastic conditions. Big fish is a 90 centimeter plus fish up to 102, 21, which is not normal for Iceland. This is famous for mainly for grace fishing. Here you can see a little bit special. The red one is the tributaries, catch per year as a percentage, and the yellow is, as we say, the first year was just a tributary smolt program. Slowly it's less and less. I reduced the smolts, increased with par instead here. But now, since the natural stock is taking over, I will reduce the par and increase the smolt to ensure fishing after overflow in the tributaries. Okay, building a lots, it's all investments to be done. I don't get any funds from government or anything like that. We just build the lots, make a program, and pay a rent to rivers, everything. It's a risky business, but it's something that I love to do, my passion, and normally it has worked. But of course, if Jökla would not have been self-sustainable itself, I think this would have probably been an impossible task financially. To pay rent, build the lots, put out smolts and par every year, smolts every year. It would have been. And so this is what we're doing. All the assets need to be there, also champagne, sauna, fireplace, everything. Just beside the Jökla, the lots in Jökla is a big river called Kaldá, which means cold river. And it's not sustainable for salmon. So I had a smolt releasing program and always had it. But it has some wild Arctic char, big ones. And we are now putting full force catch and release on that and try to protect that stock as well, because it has gone down. Like generally in Iceland, Arctic char fishing has gone down. Global warming says something, because it's an Arctic fish and everything has, and as the temperature gets warmer, the Arctic char declining. And this is on the smolt program. It's a little bit special when you have a smolt releasing fish coming back. Often they have less spots than the wild fish. It's just typical. I think you must agree with that, Jack. It's I don't know why. It's just for some reason. You can just see it right away. Often they're also a little bit fatter and more, little bit. Kaldá is beautiful, it's big and crystal clear, but it's so cold. It's one of the coldest. But I have to tell a small story here. This is in the upper part of Kaldá. It's 7-8 kilometers long. And I had a pond in the upper part couple of years before this photo was taken, just as an experiment. And I tagged them, put the octopus in. And late in the season, I decided to look up in the canyon high up. It's a little bit walk, because nobody's been fishing it, just to check. I had the time to drop off. I should maybe not say it, but there's a small creek coming in from the right. But I started to catch fish. In this pool, I just went out in the afternoon just quickly to look. But at the end of the day, it was told in 4 hours. I went into this pool. There was a fish on every cast. I had not seen a fly all season. Every fish was adipose was cut and micro-tagged from the pond. And in 4 hours, I hooked 20 and under 12, 4 to 6 kilos. And I managed to get most of them alive into the small tributary, call my assistants and some rescue people to come with a tank, and we can use most of them from broodstock. But I had to stop at 8 o'clock because the tank couldn't take any more. And now I'm putting that pond back in action again, so I'm waiting for a new opportunity like that. And we use the smolt releasing ponds. This is a smolt releasing pond. We use them as to keep the broodstock as well. When we see catch over the season. More natural, like a big pool, things like that. A lot of time.
Lunch is ready.
Okay, just let me finish.
All right.
Another tributary there. This is famous for Arctic char in the estuary. This is not the estuary there. And a small one. But there is a pond as well. I want to put there again one video. They want this just to release, and they want to go out like crazy. They're panicked. You have to have the ponds closed, and you have them closed for maybe one. It's also next one. See the total chaos. They want to go out, so they get calmed in a few days, and they start to take food. and then they, they get slowly multiplicated, and then the fish start to come, they open the grill and they go out. And then we start to catch them in the pool just below, and you see here. It just show how good it is. Just before I end, small river on the northwest I have, which is totally different. It's just a natural river, nothing wrong. It's a natural stock, natural river, and except there's a small stocking program going on there as well. Above this waterfall there, we take some fish in the box, and we take some box and release some power above. I've done it for 20 years. My the leaseholder before did it for 20, 30 years. This river has been stocked above waterfall with power and fingerlings for 40, 50 years. And also, there was one beat in that river that was slow, and I had a small pond there just to make the fish stop in that area. And now you can see the trend line in that river. It used to be like a 200 salmon, now it's an average around 350 salmon with a limited stocking program going on in totally natural healthy river. And this is from the pond, this is first fish of the season. I was catching this fish, and there's a nice lot and everything there. Egg planting, habitat improvement a little bit have been done, like putting out rocks in the areas which make the power of fingerlings coming into. This is taking a break or so. Little bit summary, I cannot go over all at the time, but smolt releasing ponds increase return rate and control the place of recapture. As I explained, we can control it. Site of smolt releasing pond in tributary water or use of main river makes a different place of recapture. But smolt quality, the size depends, rearing period, smoltification, stocks, all matters. Time of release affects the return rate. I have noticed if I release smolts early, they come back earlier as a grills the following year. If they're released late out of the ponds, they're coming later as a grills next following year. Mortality in the river, we try to open the ponds when there's a flood. They are silvered, they can go out, and we wait for the next rain or crazy weather, then we open the pond and flush them out maybe. Why stocking? Build up rivers with no possibility of natural stock, like Rango rivers. For rivers, number two, for rivers with limited natural habitat and a run of salmon, like Breitalsá. To get flying start to new rivers and then natural reproduction will take over, like Jökla. Increase the fishing and control place of recapture in natural rivers with already healthy stock. Hrútafjara river. These are the few points I would say. We are waiting for 2024. Season is coming in Iceland starting soon. And thank you.